If your dating apps aren't working, there's a chance you're missing one of these 6 pictures, and it's costing you matches.
We're going live, baby.
We'll do it live.
You're listening to the premier podcast for men who want to not only be better with women, but want to be better men in general. This is the Come On Man podcast. And here's your host,
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer. He is a certified master life coach and NLP practitioner.
It's true. It's damn true. We are not live today. Nurse Chick and I are heading to Phoenix, Arizona, so I had to pre-record this. But if you guys are new to the channel, my name is Paul Bauer. I help men level up and get better with women. And the funny thing about doing that is it tends to make us better men in all areas of our lives. Now, most men think dating apps are complicated, but the truth is your results usually come down to just a few pictures on your profile. Women decide in seconds whether they're curious about you or not, and those decisions are almost always based on what they see in your photos. When you understand the 6 types of pictures that actually work, you stop guessing, stop wasting time, and start getting better matches with less effort. So stick with me, because by the end of this episode, you'll know exactly which 6 photos your profile needs. Now, I will be reading straight out of my first book, Everything I Wish I Knew When I Was 18, and we'll be focusing on the subchapter on the secrets to dating app success. Okay. This is something that I broke this down into a science. So if you are struggling on dating apps, this is why I always say dating apps don't suck. Men notoriously suck at using dating apps. Okay. If you are struggling with dating apps, read this book. Okay. So we're going to basically read most of this subchapter. So the subchapter is called The Secrets to Dating App Success. So many guys get hung up on the statistics of dating apps. You hear it all the time online. Men lamenting about how 80% of the women are going for the same 20% of men or something to that effect. They cite those statistics as a reason why men should avoid dating apps, since the odds are stacked against us. You know, I just saw this big thing was blowing up on X the other day too, where this guy created fake profiles on Hinge and stuff like that. And he created a profile of a woman to just show like how women get infinite matches. And he was using that as a reason why dating apps don't work. You know what I mean? It's like, yes, women get infinite matches. Men actually have to do some work. You have a burden of performance as a man to attract women. It's like that in all planes of dating. You know, if you are going out to a bar, and you'll find that there's probably a mix of about 80% dudes and 20% women, and all the dudes are trying to get the same women. And so women have pick of the litter. It's like that when you're in person. It's like that on dating apps. There's no difference. But a lot of guys make it a big difference because they suck at using dating apps. It's a skill issue. Okay. So I continue on in the book. You also hear people talk about how dating apps are designed to either keep people on the app or keep them coming back. It's a form of marketing churn. The more they keep people unhappy and coming back, the more money they make. And that is true. That is true. So what do you do about that? Right? Like, what do? You have to not only capture a woman's attention, you have to get her off the app and in person. And then you have to use game and frame to keep her interested in you, to keep her off the app. That's the only thing that's the difference, right? It's most guys don't do that though. And these women are like, you're not my best possible option. And so they just stay on the app, and then she ghosts you. And so you don't have any options. So now you're back on the app, right? But if you can master all this kind of stuff, you're less likely to have to go back on the app, right? Anyway, guys, I do have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Please like, subscribe, hit those notifications, would you? I'm usually live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but today I'm not. But I always have a new episode no matter what, even if I have to pre-record it. All right, let's continue on with this chapter. While these things are true, the problem is not the dating app. The problem is that people, particularly men, suck at using dating apps. If men just put in the slightest bit of effort, they would do way better on them, and it's not even that hard. Success on dating apps comes down to 4 basic factors. How many times have you guys tuned into the podcast and heard me talk about this? It comes down to 4 basic factors. The quality of your pictures, which that's going to be what the main topic for today. The quality of your bio, okay? How you open conversations with women and how you close for dates. It's pretty simple when you get down to it, okay? Now, I talk about this a lot in the podcast, but we were having this conversation in Wolfpack the other day. One of the newer guys in the pack was complaining about the matches that he's getting and complaining about how what he does get matches. It's not necessarily with the women that he likes, but he's getting those matches. And then he does conversations and those fizzle out. And he's got an 80% failure rate. He's getting really frustrated. And so we're breaking this stuff down for him in the pack. And Brother Nathan brought it up really well. He's like, it comes down to 4 things. Like Paul says, it comes down to 4 things: your pictures, your bio, how you open, and how you close. And he said, if you are not getting the types of matches you want, it's your pictures. Okay. If you are getting lots of matches, your pictures are pretty good. Your bio is pretty good. But if your conversations are fizzling out, it's because your opener either sucks or your conversation skills suck. You know what I mean? So that's really what it comes down to. It's very basic when you think about it. And so that's what we're breaking down today. Okay. Guys like detailed formulas. So I created a list of the 6 types of photos you need on a dating app. I based this list off of Rich Cooper's list in his book, The Unplugged Alpha, with some slight modifications. If you're stuck, definitely try to incorporate all or some of these ideas into your dating app profile. Now, before I give you guys that list, let me ask you a question. Okay. Right now, how many of your photos actually show the life a woman would want to join into, a life that a woman would want to step into? Okay. How many of your photos show an awesome life? Let me know in the chat or the comments if you're watching the replay, okay? Because this is a part of the secret here. If you have boring ass pictures, you are projecting out a boring ass lifestyle, and no woman wants to join a boring ass lifestyle, okay? Women want to join guys with something going on, all right? Now, this was I mentioned how we were having this conversation with one of the brothers, the Wolfpack, and this is one of the things that he was saying. He's like, I'm kind of a boring guy. I don't really do much. I go to work, I come home, and I hang out with my kids and stuff like that. Okay, well, if that's what you showcase, you are going to get 0 matches because no one wants to be around boring. You know what I mean? Like, women want to have fun. There's a reason why you go dating. It's to go out and have a good time, right? For guys, it's like just a means to an end. I'm just trying to get laid. Okay. Well, if that's all you want, just go get a hooker. Okay. Just go out, get it, save yourself a whole bunch of time. Just go get a hooker. Okay. If you actually want to get to a relationship eventually, which I would venture to say most of you guys do, you've got to have a lifestyle that a woman would want to join. Okay. It's really not rocket science, okay? So be honest with yourself. How many of your photos actually show the life a woman would want to step into? Let me know. Let me know in the comments, okay? All right, now this is why you guys all tuned in. These are the 6 pictures that you need. You must have these 6 pictures, okay? So you need a good headshot, all right? So this is just a simple headshot, and it's pretty self-explanatory. Think, something that you would have on LinkedIn or whatever. Now, don't make it like a business headshot. right? I mean, you could use a business headshot, but really you don't want to put out a business vibe. You want to put out a fun vibe. Okay. So you want a headshot, right? You're going to need at least one full body shot. Okay. And I have here, this is important so they can see what general shape you are in. Women need to see what you're working with. If you are overweight, this lets them know up front. They will find out eventually in person anyway, so there's no sense in hiding it. In this picture, you also want to not be wearing a hat and you want to smile showing your teeth. If you're bald, again, you want them to know that up front. They will find out in person anyway, so there's no reason to hide it or no need to hide it. Okay. Now, this is true. Now, I will tell you this, there are women out there that like chubbier guys. There's women that like bigger guys, and they could be hot women too. And they might just like thicker guys because he's big and imposing and makes them feel safe. Like they might look at him like a cuddly teddy bear. Okay. Most women don't, though. Okay. Most women, even if a woman says she wants a dad bod is not an overweight guy. A dad bod is a guy who's in pretty good shape still and has a little bit extra body fat. Okay. You can still see some muscle definition there. That's what a real dad bod is. It's not a fat guy. Okay. So, and we'll talk about this more in a little bit. If you are significantly overweight, it behooves you to lose the weight. It behooves you to go to the gym and lose the weight. You will do infinitely better on dating apps. Okay. But no matter what, even if you're not there yet, doesn't mean you can't still be on dating apps. You just have to have at least one full body shot that shows what they're working with. Okay. Nobody wants to be catfished. Even women don't want to be catfished. Okay. So if you're trying to hide all that kind of crap by you doing the top down shots and the same crap that women do, okay, you're just going to shoot yourself in the foot. Because even if you do manage to get them in person, they're going to feel like you did a bait and switch. No one likes that. Okay. So at least show them what you're working with. Okay. You want a social proof picture. That's the next one. A social proof picture. This is a picture where you and some of your friends, friends or family. Okay. Now, if you can have a shot too with you and maybe a bunch of women, even better. Okay. Not one other woman, but a couple of women would be good. Okay. Because the thing is that social proof makes you look like you're not a serial killer, right? Like women want to know that you're a guy that other people like. Okay. It works even better if you're a guy that other women like, though, because of this thing called preselection. Preselection is this magical shortcut where women are naturally more attracted to men who other women like. Okay. It's like, because if you think about it from an evolutionary standpoint, a woman who gets invested with a guy, she wants to make sure he's the right guy and that if he knocks her up, that he's going to stick around. And so in order to figure that out, women naturally grew very cautious and they take their time and they try to get to know you. But at the same time, their biological clock's ticking, right? So evolutionarily speaking, they created this shortcut where they're wired to be like, oh, well, if these other women like him, he must be a good guy. And then that shortcuts the process, at least to their hindbrain, right? To their monkey brain. And so they are naturally more attracted to guys who other women like. So if you can get a picture of you surrounded by a bunch of women, that is ideal. That would be a good pick to have. And a lot of guys, especially nice guys, would be like, no way, that would scare women off. They'll think that I'm talking to other women. Women like guys with options. Okay. So you want that. If you can't get that, at least get one shot with you with a group of your boys. Okay. That would be okay too. You want an action shot. Okay. This can be a picture of you doing something fun and exciting like mountain biking or backcountry skiing. Women want to join a man who lives an exciting life. Okay. This is your chance to show them what your exciting lifestyle looks like. If you don't do anything fun or exciting now, you need to start. It will make you more interesting and attractive. Plus, think about how boring your life is right now. This was something that I had a problem with. Okay. After my marriage, after my relationship with Red Pill Chick, I realized that, God, I was a boring guy. I did not have that exciting of a lifestyle, And so I really, I was exercising and stuff like that, but I didn't really hang out with anybody else. I was kind of a loner. And so I ended up joining a runners group, and I would do a runners meetup every Wednesday. I'd go hiking on the weekends with my dog. I go exploring and geocaching and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't have to be that much. You just got to be a guy that doesn't just sit around watching football, playing video games all the time. Okay. If you are a guy that actually goes out and experiences life, women like to join that sort of thing. Since I've been in a relationship with Nurse Chick, one of the things that she and I do is we go traveling a lot. We take these excursions. Like today, for instance, I'm pre-recording this because we're hanging out in Phoenix, Arizona for the next couple of days. You know what I mean? So you want to be that kind of guy where this lifestyle is exciting and she wants to join it. Okay. So you need an action shot. The fifth one you need is a mystery shot. Now, this was something, like I mentioned at the beginning, and I give credit to Rich Cooper. This is one of the ideas I got from the Unplugged Alpha, right? It really phenomenal book. I recommend you read it. I read it twice now. Fun fact about that book, he released a second edition or something like that. And in the original edition, there's a foreword written by Rollo Tomasi. And in the updated version, he removed the foreword and references to Rollo. It's like, man, this manosphere sucks ass. You know what I mean? Like the manosphere is toxic as crap. I don't get it. Anyway, so the mystery shot. This one was a really cool idea. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. Now, let me read how I've got it written here. Women love a mystery, which is true. This can be a picture of you facing a sunset, so only your silhouette can be seen. Or if you're a motorcyclist, you can pose with your bike wearing a helmet. And it says, see below an example from my mystery shot, which I'll show here in a little bit. Now, the idea of the silhouette, so only or the sun, facing the sun, so only your silhouette can be seen, that is straight out of Rich Cooper's book. The cover of the book is that picture. It's that picture that he used for his mystery shot. And he's on a hill and the sun is in front of him and the camera's taking a backside. So all you see is his silhouette. And Rich is in pretty good shape, right? So he's got his shirt off, which you can't see any skin, but you can see his V taper and stuff like that. It looks really cool. And so I modified that on my dating app profiles by having a picture that Marine Corps chick, she was a chick that I dated in the early podcast days, right? Marine Corps chick actually took this picture. And it's me. We went out motorcycle riding and I asked her to take a picture of me. And so we stopped on this crossroads where we were at. And I got off the bike and I just stood there with like my leather jacket. I kept my helmet on. I had her take the picture. And it looks cool. It looks straight out of Mad Max, right? But because you can't see my face, and stuff like that, it's kind of a badass looking shot. I use that on my dating app profile for a long time. I was using that dating app profile pic when I met Nurse Chick. So that's a mystery shot. And then number 6 is something cute. Okay. So this could be a picture of you holding a puppy or a kitten. It gives you that awe picture that women like. And if your goal, especially if your goal is to eventually get into a relationship, right? Your goal is to eventually get into a relationship. You got to understand that women want to consolidate on a guy that has both alpha and beta traits. Okay. Now you want to lead with all the alpha crap because a woman only wants to get into a relationship with a man she's sexually attracted to. Right. And that's alpha traits. Women are sexually attracted to alpha traits. Right. But in order to be in an LTR, if that's your eventual goal, she does need to see some beta traits. Okay. So you with a puppy or kitten would be good for that. Okay. It gives you that awe picture that women like, right? Aw, so adorable. Now, a lot of guys, and so many guys get pissed when I say this, but do not post pictures holding fish. don't be posting your fish pics on your dating app profile. Okay. Now, a lot of dumbass guys are like, oh, well, I got to show her that I'm a provider, that I can get food. We live in 2026. Most people go to the supermarket for food. Now, that's not what women see when they see those pictures. Okay. They do not see that you're a hunter and provider. Like that does not register with them. It's cheesy and they don't like it. Okay. Do you want to get laid or not? Get rid of the fish pics. Okay. Get rid of the hunting pics. I know a lot of you guys, I live out in hunting country, right? Like a lot of guys like to have the hunting pictures out there. Don't do that shit, okay? And some of these guys will argue with that and they get so mad at that shit. And it's like, well, women are putting that, let them. Let women can do whatever the fuck they want. They're already getting infinite matches. You are not. Do you want to get laid or not? Stop putting fish pics and hunting pics in your fucking dating bios, guys. Jesus Christ. Okay, so I put here, a lot of guys hold pictures of dead fish. That isn't cute and women hate it. A live, cuddly animal will help you out much better. It's true. It just will. Okay. Now, I mentioned the beta traits, right? The puppy or kitten would be fine. Okay. Walking your dog would be fine. Okay. Don't put pictures of your children in there. That does not help. And my brother, our brother in Wolfpack, that was one of his things, right? Like 3 of his pictures were selfies and 2 of his pics were of him and his kids. It's like, dude, no wonder you're not getting any matches. One, selfies are a bad idea. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit. Selfies are typically a bad idea. And your kids don't belong on dating app pictures, and women don't want to see a single father. Okay. You don't need to lead with that shit. Think about how you would feel if you saw a woman with her kids on there and she was leading with her kids. Like, and most guys don't like single moms, right? Like that wouldn't turn you on to see the kids. Women aren't turned on by seeing you as a dad. Okay. Puppies and kittens are more effective. Otherwise, fucking don't even have the beta picture in there. Okay. Just drop that all together and just have those 5 pictures. Okay. All right. By the way, guys, like I said before, Everything I Wish I Knew When I Was 18 is the book. This is what we're reading from today. I highly recommend you get it, especially if you're challenged in the dating department right now.
Tired of wasting time on dead-end dates and attracting the wrong women? You put in the effort, but end up with dates that go nowhere, or relationships that fizzle out before they even start. You're tired of it. Dating shouldn't feel like a never-ending chore. And you know deep down that you're capable of attracting a woman who sees your value. The problem? You haven't been taught how to attract the right women and keep them. What if you could date efficiently, quickly filtering out the women who aren't right for you, and instead attract high-quality women who are genuinely interested? What if, when you found the right one, you knew exactly how to maintain that attraction for the long haul? With Everything I Wish I Knew When I Was 18, you'll learn exactly how to master the dating game, how to identify and attract high-quality women, how to weed out the ones wasting your time, and how to keep that attraction burning in a long-term relationship. This isn't about playing games. It's about developing the confidence and mindset to naturally draw the right women to you, while keeping the spark alive for years to come. Don't waste another day chasing the wrong women. Grab your copy of Everything I Wish I Knew When I Was 18 and start mastering the art of efficient dating. Find the right woman and keep her.
Indeed. You guys, you can find that book. There's one single link in the description. I'm trying this out this week. I saw some kind of video about how if you have too many links in the description, YouTube doesn't push your video out as much. And so I was like, okay, well, let me just put my main link in there. If you go to www.comeonmanpod.com, you will, it'll take you to my Gumroad, my primary Gumroad page, and you'll find me on all my social media there. You'll find all the links to my books there. You'll find my courses there. You'll find my free ebooks there, which I don't really talk about too much anymore, but there are free ebooks there. So check that out, would you? All right. So I mentioned the mystery shot. Let me pull that up here. This is the mystery shot that I put in the book. Oh, I don't like that one. Let's do this. There we go. There we go. So that's me. Like I said, Marine Corps chick took this picture. So that's me and my bike and, my leather jacket. And that helmet, it was the first helmet I got. I don't wear that anymore. It's not that good of a helmet, but it totally makes me look like a Mad Max villain, in my opinion. And it's a mystery shot because you can't see my face. Okay. So that's an example of a mystery shot, or you can do like Rich Cooper did and do one with, the sun in front of you and someone taking a picture from the back. Brother Omega from the Wolfpack actually went out and hired a professional photographer. And I do recommend that. Okay. You got to look at dating apps like it's a marketing platform. Okay. You're marketing yourself. And in order to capture people's attention, you have to have good pictures. You just do. And that's the name of the game on dating apps. You have to have decent pictures. So if you don't have anyone to take these pictures yourself, you can use a tripod and the timer feature on your phone, or go out and hire a professional photographer. So Brother Omega from Wolfpack actually went out and hired a professional photographer. We have a bunch of guys in Wolfpack that hired professional photographers, and it changed the game for them. Okay. They started getting way better matches. They started going on way better dates and stuff like that. Okay. So do that if you can afford it. But this is an example. But yeah, Brother Omega had he sent her a short that I did on all 6 of these a couple of years ago, and he's like, I need pictures like these, and she's like, done. And she took him out, and he's got a badass mystery shot where he's like shooting a bow and arrow or something like that, and it's just a silhouette. It's badass looking. I love it. So that's that. Take that down there. Let's see here. Now, continuing the book. And like I said before, we're reading Everything I Wish I Knew When I Was 18, and we're reading the chapter on success on dating apps. If you can afford it, get these pictures taken by a professional photographer who specializes in dating app profile pictures. Make sure they also understand concepts like masculine body language and what women really find attractive. For instance, studies show that women find a more brooding look or even just a slight smirk more attractive than a full smile. This means that you shouldn't be smiling in every picture, because that subconsciously tells women that you are a nice guy, and that will turn them off. A lot of photographers don't think about stuff like that, and that is true. Okay, it's something that I learned from the book Atomic Attraction by Christopher Canwell. There's studies that he cites in there about this, that women like a guy with a more brooding look or a playful smirk. So don't be smiling a big toothy grin in every photo. Okay, but you need to have at least one picture with a full smile, just to show your teeth. Okay, just to show that you don't have a messed up grill. Okay, if you do have a messed up grill, invest in yourself and go get that fixed. Okay, you're going to do much better on dating apps if you get your teeth fixed. All right. If you can't afford to hire a professional, then go get a tripod and use the timer feature on your phone's camera app, or get a camera that has a timer feature. They also make small gorilla tripods that can wrap around fence posts and tree branches, so you can get creative with this. Go to Walmart. You can get one of those bendy leg tripods that will hook on fences and tree branches and whatever, to get various shots when you're out and about. It's only like $12. I got one of those things. A lot of my dating app profile pics, I went out with a full-on tripod and just went out to a park, and you don't want all your pictures with you wearing the same shit. You got to make it, even if you go out for one day to get all your pictures done, you at least need to make it look like you got them all done on different days. Okay. That was another problem with our brother in Wolfpack. He had, like I said, he had 3 selfies and 2 pictures of him and his kids. And all 5 looked like they were taken with the same shirt. Or if they weren't the same shirt, they were the same fucking color shirt, right? They literally looked like they were all taken on the same day. Don't do that. Okay. You got to make the appearance that you live an awesome lifestyle. Okay. My old 3% brothers, I can't remember which one said this, but one of my old 3% brothers in the old 3% man group said that alphas get their picture taken by other people. Other people want to take an alpha's picture, right? So selfies subcommunicate that you don't have any friends and no one's there to take your picture, right? This is why you don't do selfies and stuff like that. Okay. But also alpha guys, they go to a bunch of different things where they could have their picture taken, right? So you've got to at least create that illusion on the dating app. The important thing here is that you do not want a lot of selfies in your profile. It either consciously or subconsciously tells women that you don't have any friends to take pictures of you. The idea is that happening men have other people taking pictures of them. See, this is what I learned from my brothers in the 3% man group. If that's not the case for you, you can at least create that illusion for your dating app profile. Do you see the method to the madness here yet, guys? By the way, I am not live, but if you guys do want to support the channel, you can still send a super chat. I just won't be able to read it for you, but if I see it on the back end, I'll give you a shout out on social media, okay? If you're getting value out of this, please do consider sending a super chat. That helps support the show. All right. Of course, all of these rules sort of go out the window if you're in good shape. Okay. So like I said before, if you want to show a full body picture to show what you're working with, but if you are overweight, you are going to get less matches. You just will. Okay. So if you're in good shape, you can do almost anything you want. Okay. That's the magic of being in shape. You're way more attractive, and it's something that you have complete control over. Okay. So for instance, I had a lot of selfies in my profile for a while, and I did fine because I was in pretty good shape. So before I read Unplugged Alpha and was like, oh, maybe I should change my profile pics, right, to the 5, because there was 5 that Rich Cooper recommended. So before I did that, I did have a bunch of selfies. They weren't all taken on the same day, and they were all where I was out doing cool shit though. Okay. So that was part of it, but I was also in pretty fucking good shape. All right. So, that's what this is going to talk about. So I had a lot of selfies in my profile for a while, and I did fine because I was in pretty good shape. For instance, here's a selfie I've had on my dating app profile for a long time. So here's what the selfie I have from the book. Let's see here. Where's the pictures at? Image. This is what I want. This is the selfie. This was like one of the selfies I led with. Okay. This was like the main dating app profile pic that I had. So I say in the book here, a few things worked well in this picture. One, you can see some definition in my arm, especially my shoulder. Also, I'm outdoors doing something interesting. Notice the waterfall in the back. Remember how women want to join your lifestyle if you do fun and exciting things? It turns out that women find waterfalls fun and exciting. I also think that the fact that I was using a selfie stick made it less obvious, and you can see a good portion of my body and what I looked like, right? So I wasn't just holding the camera out with my hand. I did have a selfie stick. So it's not super obvious that this is a selfie. I'm wearing a sleeveless shirt. My arm definition was looking pretty fire there. And there's a badass waterfall in the background. Okay. Like this pic worked great. I got lots of matches. Okay. So you can do selfies, but you got to be strategic with them. And it does help if you're in better shape and doing something cool while you're doing that. Okay. All right. God damn, that's a handsome guy there. Oh, man. All right, guys. So we mentioned that this is something that we talk about with other guys in the wolf pack. If you are in the situation where you're struggling on the dating circuit and you need to be able to swap notes with other guys that are doing really good and have better suggestions for you, it's time to roll with the wolves, brother.
Beer club? Not anymore.
life drift, feeling alone. You don't need hacks, blogs, lies. You need men with fire in their eyes. We rebuild from the ground up. No excuses, no soft stuff. Telegram lit 24/7. Brothers locked in, steel, not heaven. Step inside the pack. We don't fall, we attack. Truth, fire, presence, we bring it back. Masculine pride, no time to slack. Step inside the pack. Drop your past, claim your track. No therapy talk, no playing small. We sharpen blades, we take it all.
Goddamn right. And we're continuing on with our discussion of everything I wish I knew when I was 18 and the success with the dating apps chapter, specifically talk about pictures. So I already gave you guys the 6 pictures that you need, but let's continue on here. Now that you have an idea of what kind of pictures you should be taking, let's talk a little bit about style and appearance. I already mentioned that if you are in shape, a lot of the rules go out the window. This is true with style as well. If you are in outstanding shape, you'll probably look good wearing a burlap sack. Most people aren't pinnacles of physical shape, though. And in all honesty, on dating apps, you really only have to be in better shape than the other guys in your area. Okay. Now, this is sort of the problem with shows like Fresh and Fit or Access Vegas, or whatever podcast, because those shows are centered in areas like Miami, Vegas, and Los Angeles, where, you've got hot looking ass movie star looking chicks, OnlyFans models looking chicks, and you have guys with like ripped abs and all that kind of stuff. But most of you guys aren't living in those places, I would venture to say, especially if you're tuning into my channel, right? Us in the middle states, we don't necessarily have that type of level of attractive people out here. You know what I mean? And especially like there's a lot of people that just let themselves go out in middle America, right? And that's a big problem that I found out here, right? Most of the guys in the area I live are big, fat, corn-fed country bumpkin motherfuckers with missing teeth and shit like that. So just not being fat already put me ahead of the curve of these guys. Okay. It's not even that hard. If you just stop eating like shit and go to the gym a little bit, you're going to do much better. And then if you dress a little bit better than the people around here, people around your area, you're going to do that much better. Okay. You don't have to look like, a fucking Adonis. You just have to look better than the other guys that you're competing against in the dating pool. Okay. It's not even that hard for most of you guys. So continuing on here, for instance, as you can see in the pics above, I am in fairly decent shape, but I am not ripped by any sense of the word. I do not have well-defined 6-pack abs. That doesn't matter though, because if you look on the dating apps at the other men in my area, most of them are very overweight, corn-fed looking country bumpkins. It wasn't that hard to set myself apart by just not being fat. That was one of the biggest game changers for me, right? So when I first got divorced back in 2014, I was 50 pounds overweight. 50 pounds overweight. I looked like shit. And I struggled on the dating circuit. Then after a year into my relationship with Red Pill Chick, I was tired of what I saw in the mirror. And I decided to make a promise to myself to lose the weight and get in shape. And I was like, I'm going to work out Monday through Friday, no matter what. That was a promise I made to myself back then. Right. And so I ended up losing all that weight. And so when I ended up breaking up with Red Pill Chick and I found myself back on the dating circuit again, it was like shooting fish in a barrel, getting dates on dating apps just because I wasn't fat anymore. And I was like, this is crazy. My problem after that became my unattractive behavior when it came to dating and relationships. And I was always the guy pushing for relationships. I was sniper dating. I was being needy as fuck, like all that kind of stuff. And so that's what I had to learn after that. But just not being fat, I had way more matches. I had infinitely more matches. And so then after I learned game and frame and all that kind of stuff, on top of that, it was fucking easy, dude. It was like shooting fish in a barrel after all that. Okay. Let's see here. You don't want to be a slob either. You want to look like you have some fashion sense to set yourself apart from other men. Now, most dating books will talk about the importance of wearing a suit and how wearing a suit makes you look high value and classy. They also talk about how women love men in suits for those reasons. While that all may be true, you also want to make sure your clothing matches your environment and your personality. Okay, so we're going to get into it here a little bit, but I live out in cow country. If I walked around in a suit, I'd look like a fucking dipshit. Okay. So the advice of wear a suit and be a high value man, it doesn't apply if you live in an area like mine. Okay. So just know that like if you live out in ranch country, like we have a brother in Wolfpack right now. He's recently just went through a divorce. And then in our divorce strategy group, he fucking we gave him all sorts of tips and he fucking just killed it in mediation against his wife, and he's got everything he wanted. It's like, guys, if you were in that position right now, get in the fucking wolf pack, okay? Because we got your back in there. We got brother Nathan wrote the book, Divorce is War. He's in there helping guys strategize through their divorces so they don't get fucking absolutely raked over the coals, okay? But our brother in there who he recently went through all that. He lives out in, I think he's out in fucking Kentucky. He lives out in, fucking hunting country and shit like that. He can't be wearing a suit out there. No one's wearing a suit out there, right? So you've got to be able to wear clothes that match your environment and your personality a little bit, okay? By the way, guys, follow me on social media. If you click the link that's in the description, like I said before, I'm trying to limit the links in the description just to see if that makes a difference this week. That one link will take you to all my socials as well. They're if you scroll down to the bottom of that page, they're at the bottom there. I'm on all the good platforms. All right. So the last little bit that we'll wrap up with is I already mentioned that there are a lot of country bumpkins in my area. That's because I live in a rural area with a lot of farms and ranches. Nobody wears suits out here, even at somewhat classy restaurants. If I were to walk around in a suit, I'd look like a complete dipshit. So that suit advice does not always apply to folks in flyover states. It's funny because Nurse Chick loves dressing up. She's got all these ball gowns and stuff like that. There is no place out here to wear them. And so what we'll do sometimes, the fanciest I'll dress up, right? I have a sport coat. Actually, I have two sport coats. Sport coats, I'll have a nice dress shirt. I don't wear a tie. And then I have some blue jeans that I only wear on special occasions. So I don't wash them. They're not faded. They don't have holes in them or whatever. They're only for special occasions. And so what I'll do is I have a nice belt with a nice belt buckle. And that's what I'll wear. I'll wear that. And then Nurse Chick will put on one of her fancy ass ball gowns or some shit. And then we'll go to the fanciest restaurant on the Western Slope, and people will be in there wearing shorts and flip-flops. And so what we like to do, just because, Nurse Chick likes to do that, is I when we go to places like that and we're dressed up, I like to pretend that we're better than everybody. I go, would you just look at us? We are so much better than this riffraff, right? It's a fun thing that we like to do. We did actually go to a ball, not this last year, but the year before. We went to a big gala that one of the big hospitals, or no, I think it was her outfit, the company she works for was putting it on. It was a fundraiser and it was a black tie event. So there, all these doctors and stuff were there wearing tuxedos and shit. And Nurse Chick was wearing one of her fine ball gowns. And the funny thing is you could tell right away that she is not used to going to fancy events like that. And I've been to tons in my life, for various reasons or whatever. So I've been to tons of those events, and I just look over at her when we're standing in line to, get in, and she just had this deer in a headlights look. It's hilarious. It's like, oh, it's like when my cat thinks that she wants something, and then when she gets it, she freaks out. Yeah. Anyway. Let's see here. Flyover state. So some good rules do apply though. For instance, wearing clothes that fit make a huge difference. Form fitting is the best, especially if you're in shape. A lot of men dress for comfort and wear clothes that are too big and baggy. Okay. Most of you guys are wearing clothes that are oversized because it's comfortable. Okay. But it looks like trash on you. You look frumpy as hell. You want to wear something that fits your frame a little bit better. Okay. That's a little more form fitting. Instead, try to wear clothes that are one size smaller than you're used to. Okay. If you are a big guy and have a spare tire, go back and read the chapter on fitness and diet. Lose that weight. You will do so much better on dating apps if you are fit and in shape. There really is no way around this. In fact, if you can, build your shoulders and lats up and trim your waist. That V taper is a physical marker of attractiveness that all women look for. Okay, V taper. All right. And that's all we're going to talk about today. You guys can read the rest of the chapter and the rest of the book for that matter, by getting a copy on Amazon, or you can listen to it on Audible. Use the link in the description to find that. Everything I Wish I Knew When I Was 18. It goes into way more than just dating and relationships though. It goes into mindset. It goes into getting your finances in order. I have a chapter called Anyone Can Get Rich. Anyone Can Get Rich. That chapter is the second largest chapter in this book. And it talks about how to set aside an emergency fund, how to start investing for wealth, how to get out of debt, all that kind of stuff. Like what investing actually looks like. There's a lot of, we have a money group in the Wolfpack, and there's a lot of guys that go in the money group and they've never dabbled in investments or anything, because when they hear it, their eyes just glaze over. It's all boring information. I try to break it down as simple as possible in this book. But if you're struggling financially, you're going to want to read this book too. Okay. So Everything I Wish I Knew When I Was 18, you can get that on Amazon or Audible. But that's all we got for this episode. Slightly shorter than usual, but that's okay. We are pre-recorded. Tune into the podcast on Friday. I found a really great Red Pill archive post called How to Develop the Mindset That Magnetically Attracts Women. I thought it'd be fun to go over that, since Friday's episode is going to be pre-recorded off also. So when you guys see me wearing the same outfit on Friday, it's because I literally recorded both of these episodes back to back, which I'm about ready to go record that one now. If you guys haven't done so already, please like, subscribe, hit those notifications. I do have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, no matter what, even if I'm traveling, and we'll see you guys on Friday.
This has been the Come On Man podcast. Now, go out and get it.